Hey, it's Eric. I'm back with another vinyl video. This time around, I got some records to show. Only one of them is new to me. The rest of them are records that I've had that I wanted to talk about a little bit and show. One of my goals in starting this series of videos was to talk about things that I'm not seeing other people in the vinyl community talk about, things that I dig and things I think are worth people checking out either on vinyl or Spotify or YouTube or whatever it is you use to check out music that you haven't heard before. To begin with, this is what I got today. This is Plan 9 from 1989. This is their Ham and Slam Jammin' record. These guys were part of the 80s garage rock revival. They were maybe a little more bluesy and a little more what we call garage rock from the 60s rather than psychedelic, but definitely worth checking out. It was on Restless Records. Up next is my favorite record of 2010, a record that I never thought that would be a favorite of mine, and I honestly haven't listened to it for probably a year or two now, but it's definitely worth checking out. And this is a genre that I'm really not a fan of. But this is Janelle Monáe's The ArchAndroid. And this record is a hip-hop R&B style record. But it's got bits of 1940s jazz. It's got a little bit of proto-punk, a little bit of psychedelic, a little bit of hard rock in it. It is a concept album based on the film Metropolis. So if you're into the science fiction themed things, check it out. This one really took me by surprise. It's hard to believe that it's been 7 years. I was really not drawn into her follow-up, which I can't even remember the name of. But this is a great record, and this is one that deserves to be checked out by more people. Next up, we have, this is from 2008. This is Alejandro Escovedo, Real Animal. Now, Alejandro Escovedo is an interesting guy. He started out in a 1970s punk band called The Nuns, based out of San Francisco. They were one of the two bands that opened up for that legendary Sex Pistols show, the final show of the original run of the Pistols at Winterland. And reportedly, The Nuns and the other bands, the Avengers, blew them off the stage. After The Nuns, he went to a band called Rank and File, which were, in my mind, the first and main band in the world of what we call cowpunk, which is in the 1980s when punk rockers really started getting into roots rock or moving from punk to roots rock. There were already bands like the Gun Club and the Cramps that were already dealing with roots rock songs and concepts. But Alejandro was a part of Rank and File. They're a great band. They had 3 albums. The first 2 are definitely worth checking out. The third one's an odd curiosity. After leaving Rank and File, he went on to a couple of other bands, then became a solo artist in the 90s. No Depression magazine named him the most important and best artist in the 90s. He's emerged in the last couple of years as a straight-up rocker. He's worked with Bruce Springsteen's producer. Springsteen's covered one of his songs from this album, actually. And this album is a concept album detailing his musical journey from The Nuns through Rank and File into the later years. This has got some glam on it. This has got some roots rock on it. It's got some straight-ahead rock and roll. Highly recommended. Saw him in concert twice. Puts on a great show. So if you don't know Alejandro Escovedo, check him out. Real Animals is about as good as it gets. Next up, this is the Bouncing Souls Comet. Now, the Bouncing Souls are one of these 90s punk revival bands. I discovered them via their cover of Code Blue by TSOL on the Punk Rock Jukebox compilation. This was an album that took me by surprise. I had liked their first couple of records. I only kept their first or second record in my collection, but I had heard a couple tracks off of this. This is a really great album. Once again, it's a concept album. The concept is largely that there's a comet on its way to hit the planet, and people stop living BS lives and start being real. It's got some great songs on here. Coin Toss Girl is a great song. Comet's a great song. Just really good stuff. A real, I would say, a high water mark for this band. If you have fallen off like I had with after their first couple of records, this is definitely a return to form and definitely a record that's worth checking out. All right, now we get into some older records that I have. They're not in the greatest shape. Some of these I bought for a couple bucks long before the vinyl revival started or was given. And they're just records everyone should have or should check out. This one actually needs to be cleaned. This is Ian Dury, New Boots and Panties. This has got Sweet Gene Vincent, which is maybe my favorite song by him. It's got What else on here? Yeah, that's probably the only song here I really know, but this is a great record. This copy actually has some water stains on it and it needs to be cleaned. I got this for a couple bucks from some guy that was moving and selling his records. If you don't know Ian Dury, he was a part of that 70s British pub rock into punk rock scene. His classic song is Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll, but great stuff, well worth checking out. That same guy, I got this. This is Bowie's Diamond Dogs. This is the only Bowie I own on vinyl. It's not in great condition, but it's a great record, so I got it for a couple bucks and figured, why not? Had to get it. Early Bowie, well worth checking out. You know, a lot of people are going on about Black Star, which I thought was a great record from last year, but really this is where Bowie's reputation rests, is in these 70s records, and this is a fine example. Now, I am from Ann Arbor, Michigan, so I got to show a little local pride. Got this out of a 50-cent bin once upon a time. This is the MC5 with Kick Out the Jams, their debut album. Great classic proto-punk. Just kicks it out. That's all there's to it. If you like this genre of music, if you like hard and heavy, if you like 1970s, if you like experimental, psychedelic, any of that stuff, this is a record you need to check out. Like I said, I think I got this for 50 cents. So this is, I think, a later pressing because it comes with the inner sleeve that is advertising some pretty 80s acts like the Cars. So this is not an original pressing from the late 60s, but still, it's the MC5. And then finally, you can't talk about Ann Arbor rock and roll without the Stooges. This is Funhouse. I believe this was given to me as a gift, and I believe that this was also something that probably wasn't super expensive at the time. You know, back in the 90s, people were abandoning their vinyl, including the Stooges. They did not have the cachet that they have today. Nobody was talking about them. Nobody cared. Inner sleeve, the Electra inner sleeve. It's a pretty clean copy. People are probably thinking I'm a heretic for keeping it in the original sleeve, but there you go. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit like or subscribe if that's your thing. Let me know what you guys think about these records, especially if you check out any of those records I recommended and dig them or not. Plan to do more of these. I'm going to mix in some more videos about books because that seems to be kind of popular. You know, I've got this whole collection here. Let me turn this so that you guys can even see more and more and more DVDs and Blu-rays and VHS tapes. You know, all the way around. I've got all the stuff that means something and that I'd like to talk about in some way, shape, or form. So, until next time, catch y'all later.